I'm Rita carrying Chebet. Welcome on board. Azimio Principal Raila Odinga has dismissed the results of the meeting between President William Ruto, Chief Justice Martha Koome, and National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula to allocate an additional budget to the judiciary, stating that it is a form of corruption. At the same time, Parliament has been referred to as the neutral venue the meeting will be held. This is said during ODM delegates meeting in Malindi. Mesh Msimbi prepared that story.
ODM. ODM.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party leader Raila Odinga has now alleged the legislature and judiciary arms of government have been captured by the executive.
Hii mambo ambayo inaendelea ya serikali kuu kutisha mahakama. Ati mahakama mpaka ifanye vile inavyotaka. Wanasema ati kuna ufisadi ndani ya mahakama.
Addressing a meeting in Kilifi County on Wednesday, Mr. Odinga slammed President William Ruto over Monday's State House meeting with Chief Justice Martha Koome and Parliament officials, saying it was meant to blackmail and intimidate judges so as to make them compliant with his directives.
Kuna ufisadi kubwa zaidi ndani ya serikali kuu. Na inajulikana. Hakuna chochote ambacho wamefanya huko. Sasa wanafanya mkutano ya kisiri kwenye ikulu. Nimesema hii ni udanganyifu na vitisho kwa uhuru wa mahakama. Na sio mara ya kwanza. It is not the first time that we Kenyans are hearing about purging the judiciary.
He argued that the meeting ought to have been conducted by neutral commissions and held in a neutral environment, not between heads of government arms at State House in Nairobi.
If there's a possible reform within the judiciary, it must be done by neutral institutions. It must be done by neutral commission, not the executive, not the judiciary itself, not even the legislature. Now you have a situation where the legislature is now already captive.
The Azimio chief went on to fault the legislature, claiming that since President William Ruto rose to power, bills were hurriedly passed in Parliament and assented to law without due process, as was done in the past.
The legislature imekuwa captive. Wabunge wanapitisha kila kitu ambayo inatoka kwa ikulu.
He compared the current parliament to previous houses where bills were discussed at great length and then forwarded to the Attorney General for review before being adopted by the president, adding that the speaker has no business once a bill leaves parliament.
Hakuna chochote ambayo inabadilishwa huko. There's no debate in the current parliament. Bills come from wherever they come and they come into parliament. The speaker decree that they must be passed within the next 2 hours. There's no debate. You cannot discuss a bill within 2 hours. And then they are passed away there without amendments. And they go to the executive and they sign it. In the old days, when there was true independence of the executive and the legislature. When a bill comes to parliament from the executive, it's debated, becomes property of the house. And once it has been debated and approved by parliament, the clerk prepares the final draft and forwards it to the Attorney General. The Attorney General looks at the draft in terms of grammar and in terms of legality, and then eventually publishes the final bill. And then that bill is now in the custody of the executive. The Attorney General forwards that bill to the president, who then fixes his signature and the seal on it. It becomes law.
In the same light, the opposition boss asserted that current debates are minimal and that bills favoring the government are passed with little to no changes.
The speaker has no business once the bill has left parliament. These days you've seen the speaker of the Senate and the National Assembly going to the State House to stand there witnessing the president signing the bill. This is because the legislature has been captive have been captured by the executive.
However, Odinga is warning of a possible return of street protests if Azimio and Kenya Kwanza don't reach a compromise on the recommendation on the National Dialogue Committee. Odinga stated that the cost of living remained an irreducible minimum for the Azimio coalition, saying Kenyans are undergoing difficult times. He further threatened to move to court to challenge the task force formed to probe the Shakahola massacre, insisting the responsibility was the parliament's.
Kila mtu anatazamia na kutegemea chama cha ODM kukomboa nchi hii.
Mr. Odinga's remarks comes at a time when President William Ruto and Chief Justice Koome met at State House in Nairobi to resolve a recent onslaught by the executive against the judiciary.
For the benefit and the interest of the people of Kenya.
In a media address by the Judicial Service Commission on January 15th, the Chief Justice said the Commission had reached out to President William Ruto for a meeting to discuss any issues they have with the judicial arm.
He might have received reports because we have the various machineries and agencies that are charged with the responsibility of correcting information. And we would like to engage him so that he can give us that information. Because we all have a responsibility of solving our problems in this country. We all recognize corruption is endemic, it is a problem, it is unacceptable, it is condemned, it is actually a criminal offense.
The president will rather on January 16th welcome the judiciary's call for talks, saying they will encompass the leadership of all arms of government.
And I am going to lead from the front in that conversation, so that we can deal with a monster that is destroying our country, so that we can deal with those, the corrupt, who go to courts. Once they have been investigated, once they know they are going to be charged, they run to court, obtain orders that they cannot be charged for crimes they have committed.
During the Monday meeting, the leaders of the three arms of government acknowledged the serious threat posed by corruption, recognizing its infiltration into every aspect of governance.
For the benefit and the interest.
For Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, I'm Mesh Msimbi.